Gwar. Gore, often stylized in all caps as Gwar, is an American heavy metal band formed in Richmond, Virginia in 1984, composed of and operated by a frequently rotating line-up of musicians, artists, and filmmakers collectively known as Slave Pit Inc. Following the death of frontman and lead singer Dave Brockie in 2014, the group has continued without any of its founding members. Easily identified by their distinctively grotesque costumes, Gwar's core thematic and visual concept revolves around an elaborate science fiction-themed mythology, which portrays the band members as barbaric interplanetary warriors, a narrative which serves as the basis for all of the band's albums, rife with over-the-top violent, sexual, and scatological humor typically incorporating social and political satire. War has attracted both acclaim and controversy for its music and stage shows, the latter of which notoriously showcase enactments of graphic violence that result in the audience being sprayed with copious amounts of fake blood, urine, and semen. Such stagecraft regularly leads Gore to be labeled a shock rock band by the media. Since its formation, Gore has released 13 studio albums, 2 live albums, and numerous singles among other recordings, and has sold over 820,000 records in the United States. Fueled largely by the controversies surrounding their concerts, Gore experienced brief mainstream notoriety during the first half of the 1990s, receiving regular airplay on MTV as well as frequent in-character guest appearances on daytime talk shows satirizing the topics of censorship and media violence. Though the band's mainstream popularity declined by the end of the 1990s, Gore has retained a dedicated cult following. The band's extensive videography consists of both live recordings and long-form feature films. Outside of music and video, Gore has expanded its franchise into comic books, trading cards, a board game, signature beers, barbecue sauces, and e-liquids. Stage performance. The band's characteristic costumes are generally made of foam latex, polystyrene foam, and hardened rubber. The costumes cover very little of the band members' bodies. The bare parts are accentuated with makeup. They further their production in concert by spraying their audiences with simulated bodily fluids. Most of the fluids are made of water and powdered food coloring which, for the most part, flakes off or washes out easily. The thicker fluids are made from a clear seaweed extract called carrageenan, which is also used as a thickener and emulsifier in ice cream and milkshakes. Gore does not use syrups or stage blood because they are dry solids and can damage the band's costumes and equipment. Another trademark of Gore's live show is its mutilations of celebrities and figures in current events. Notable victims have included O.J. Simpson, John Kerry, Mike Tyson, every American president since Ronald Reagan, Jerry Garcia, Pope John Paul Roman II, Osama bin Laden, Michael Jackson, Al Gore, John McCain, Hillary Clinton, Paris Hilton, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Adolf Hitler, Lady Gaga, Marilyn Manson, Jerry Springer, Mr. Lordy, Sarah Palin, Snooki, Mitt Romney, Pope Francis, Justin Bieber. The band also makes frequent references to political and historical figures, fantasy literature, and mythology. For instance, the song Wargal makes reference to Minas Morgul, as well as the eternal champion of Michael Moorcock. Gore also has many references to Lovecraftian themes: Antarctica, Yig, giant penguins, fleshy insanities, etc. In addition, the title of their fifth album Ragnarok comes from the Norse mythological event Ragnarok. Gore were nominated for 2 Grammy Awards, one for Best Metal Performance for SFW, and one for Best Long-Form Music Video for Phallus in Wonderland. The group's performances also included fire dancing until the Slimenstra character left the band. History. Formation and debut 1984–1989. Gore is the end result of two separate projects merged into one. Dave Brockie was the vocalist and bassist for a punk band named Death Piggy that staged mini-plays and used crude props to punctuate its music. Bands would occasionally practice in a room at the Richmond Dairy, a deserted bottling plant that had been taken over by hippies. The hippies rented out interior areas to various artists and musicians. It was at the Richmond Dairy that Death Piggy met Hunter Jackson, Techno Destructo, and Chuck Vargas Executioner, both attendees of Virginia Commonwealth University, who had set up the Slave Pit, a production space for Scumdogs of the Universe, a movie they intended to make. Jackson would create props for Death Piggy to use on stage. Brockie had an idea to use the costumes made for Scumdogs of the Universe and have Death Piggy open for itself as a barbaric band from Antarctica, playing nonsense songs while sacrificing fake animals. The name of the joke group was Gwar. The members of Death Piggy began noticing that more people were coming to see Gwar and leaving immediately after the set. After several refinements, including shortening the band's name, Death Piggy was phased out in favor of the band now named Gore. The first known lineup for Gore consisted of Ben Eubanks vocals, Brockie guitar, Steve Douglas guitar, Chris Bopst bass guitar, Jim Thompson drums, and Jackson. However, this lineup was short-lived and would suffer multiple changes in the following months, with Eubanks quitting after just one or two shows and being replaced by Joe Anaruma, who went on to record several demo tracks with the band. Anaruma soon quit and was replaced by Brockie. The band solidified into a lineup consisting of Jackson, Don Draculic, Varga, Mike Delaney, Mike Bonner, Scott Kroll, Dave Musel, and Brockie. Mike Delaney left in 1987. Dewey Rowell Flatus Maximus, Michael Bishop Beefcake the Mighty, and Rob Mosby Niplius Erectus were recruited in 1987, along with Steve Douglas Ballsack the Jaws of Death. Danielle Stamp alias Slimenstra joined in 1988 as the first full-time female member of Gore for the first U.S. tour supporting Gore's debut album Hello, and toured consistently with the band until 2000. The band has also recruited and lost 3 other female members: The Temptress, Heather Broom 1986, Amazina, Colette Miller 1986–87, and Gwar woman Lisa Harrelson 1987–88. The band's debut album, Hello, a crossover thrash metal punk rock album, was released in 1988 under Shimmy Disc. The band started touring in support of the album, with Steve Douglas leaving that same year, later to form the alternative band Log, and being replaced by current rhythm guitarist Michael Dirks, who took over Douglas' alias as Ballsack the Jaws of Death. However, the band's lineup underwent further changes before 1990. In 1988, the Slave Pit saw the joining of Bob Gorman, a young, new artist who would help with the art design and fabrication aspects of the band. 1 year later, in 1989, Rob Mobsey left the band and was replaced by Pete Luchter, who also quit to be replaced temporarily by Jim Thompson, who had been in the band prior to the release of Hello. Thompson later quit and was replaced by Brad Roberts, who has since portrayed Jizmac Dog Gusha, Scumdogs of the Universe, and This Toilet Earth 1990–1994. With Gore's line-up somewhat solidified, the band would set up to record Scumdogs of the Universe, released worldwide on producer Ivan Healy Purvis' label Master Records, a subsidiary of Blue Beat Records. The album met a moderately large mainstream success and would mark the start of a career under the Metal Blade Records record label. The band would tour extensively in support for this album, releasing the Live from Antarctica produced by Ivan Healy-Purvis VHS tape in July 1990, containing, among other things, the music video for the song Sick of You. It was shortly after the video's release when the Slave Pit took in another new young artist, Matt Maguire, to help out with costume fabrication, as well as illustrations for comics and related material. In August 1990, the birth of Michael Dirksey's daughter resulted in his taking a short break from the band. Barry D. Live Ward from the band Rich Kids on LSD filled in on guitar as Balsac during Gwar's 1991 European tour. On September 18, 1990, Brockie wore his cuttlefish of Cthulhu codpiece during a show in Charlotte, North Carolina, resulting in Brockie's arrest and, ultimately, a one-year ban from the band performing in the state of North Carolina. Upon returning home, Gore filmed its first cameo in a mainstream film, Mystery Date. Scumdogs of the Universe was originally released through the UK label Master before being picked up by Metal Blade in 1991. In the group's hunt for a larger label, they auditioned for Relativity Records, one of the larger independent heavy metal labels. The group failed their audition when they arrived in costume, and Slimenstra Hymen broke a blood capsule from her codpiece onto one of the office chairs, simulating menstruation. The band suffered further lineup changes during this period, with Dewey Rowell leaving the band in 1991 and not being replaced until 1992 by Pete Lee. The Charlotte, North Carolina incident from 1990 was the inspiration for Gore's third album, America Must Be Destroyed, released in 1992. The album was accompanied by the movie Phallus in Wonderland, which documented the main concept and contained music videos for the album. Phallus in Wonderland was nominated for a Grammy Award in 1993. After recording for this Toilet Earth was completed, bassist Mike Bishop left the band. He was replaced by Casey Orr from the band Rigor Mortis. This Toilet Earth was released in 1994 to moderate success. The album received additional attention due to controversy surrounding BDF, a song that graphically refers to subjects such as sodomy, necrophilia, prenatal rape, pedophilia, and mutilation. 1994 also saw the music videos for Saddam a Go Go, The Road Behind being aired on Beavis and Butt-Head. This would also mark the beginning of the band straying from their trademark sound, as the album contained several experimental songs as opposed to the punk of Hello and thrash of Scumdogs of the Universe. Ragnarok, Carnival of Chaos, and We Kill Everything 1995-2000. In 1995, Gore released Ragnarok, an album characterized by a unique sound, including the use of keyboards, something largely unseen before by the band, as well as a much larger use of secondary vocalists. The record is considered to have been largely unnoticed after the success of the previous three albums. Despite this, the band would record two videos for the album, Surf of Sin and Meat Sandwich, as well as release Rendezvous with Ragnarok to support the album's plot-through footage from the supporting tour. Later that year, the band also made a cameo appearance in the film Empire Records. The band's first side project, X-Cops, would also come to life after the Ragnarok tour, releasing their only full-length album, You Have the Right to Remain Silent. The same year, Doom developer ID Software hired Gore to produce a showcase space at Microsoft's Judgment Day event for Halloween of 1995. Gore appeared in a video game-focused Circuit City television advertisement in 1996. The band's next record would come out in 1997 under the name Carnival of Chaos, proving to be the epitome of this experimental period containing songs from many different genres, including the classic heavy metal, but also hard rock, country, and even jazz. Shortly after the release of Carnival of Chaos, select members of the Gore ensemble appeared on The Jerry Springer Show to discuss the growing trend of shock rock and their role as entertainers. Aside from their appearance on The Joan Rivers Show, this guest appearance is still recognized as one of their most infamous appearances on national TV. In 1998, Gwar fought the ska band, the Aquabats, during the ska parade. Carnival of Chaos would be the last album with Pete Lee on guitar, being replaced by Tim Harris, who had previously been in the band around 1986 and was featured as a guest guitarist on America Must Be Destroyed. For the recording of We Kill Everything between late 1998 and early 1999, Michael Bishop would temporarily rejoin the band as the bassist during the absence of Casey Orr. The record, largely influenced by punk rock. Following this, co-founder Hunter Jackson left the group in 2000 to focus on personal projects. Daniel Stamp also left the band to focus on a personal project named Girly Freak Show. However, Violence Has Arrived and Live from NT Fuji 2001-2005. Due to the band's distaste for the previous album, War's sound changed considerably for the next recording. With Tim Harris gone, Zach Blair was hired to fill his spot as Flatus Maximus, Casey Orr also having returned to the band as Beefcake the Mighty for the recording of the band's first entirely thrash metal album in years, Violence Has Arrived, released on November 6, 2001. The album being seen as a comeback of sorts and setting off changes that resulted in the current state of the band. Violence Has Arrived was, however, the band's last album on Metal Blade Records, with the band leaving the label soon after the recording and releasing of it. In 2002, Zach Blair left Gore to form the power pop band Armstrong along with drummer Brad Roberts. The band released one album titled Dick the Lionhearted. Since February 2007, Blair has been the guitarist for Rise Against. As the band focused on a heavier, more brutal sound near the end of this period, it would also result in the creation of another side project, the Dave Brockie Experience, a band created by frontman Dave Brockie along with rhythm guitarist Mike Dirks and drummer Brad Roberts as a way of continuing the comedic sound found on albums like We Kill Everything while maintaining a more serious focus in releases by Gore. They released their first LP on March 20, 2001, Diarrhea of a Madman. This was not the end of Gore's new focus on heavy sound, as was proven with the release of Violence Has Arrived by their most successful album in several years, War Party in 2004 on their new record label, DRT Entertainment. The album met with a large underground success, as it followed the same path Violence Has Arrived did, but this time with a more serious and technical edge, partially thanks to the efforts of new lead guitarist Corey Smoot Flatus Maximus and bass guitarist Todd Evans Beefcake the Mighty. Videos were released for Bring Back the Bomb and War Party, and the band was invited to play on the Sounds of the Underground tour in 2005. That same year, the band released Live from MT Fuji, the band's first live album besides the then extremely rare You're All Worthless and Weak, released in 2000 and re-released in 2006 on Slave Pit Records. In 2004, Gore teamed up with Gray Delisle as the voice of Grandma Stuff'em in the codename 25th Anniversary and Death of Corey Smoot 2006-2011. Gore began work on their next album, tentatively titled Go to Hell, in January 2006. That same month, Gore opened a gallery show called The Art of Gore at Art Space Gallery in Richmond to display the many props, costumes, cartoons, paintings produced by the Slave Pit, Gore's art and effects studio. On February 23, 2006, Gore's official website announced Gore's album, officially titled Beyond Hell, for which, at the urging of DRT Entertainment, a cover version of Alice Cooper's School's Out was recorded and released. The music video was directed by Dave Brockie on July 2, 2006. The part of the school marm has been mistakenly identified as Devin Townsend, the producer of the Beyond Hell CD. It is actually Scott Kroll, a longtime Gore slave and inventor of Gore. School's Out was nominated for Best Video of 2006 on MTV2's Headbangers Ball. The Bloodbath and Beyond DVD was released on June 20, 2006, containing exclusive behind-the-scenes and vintage footage of the band. Gore performed a special halftime show at the Sounds of the Underground 2006 tour. Gore went on to headline the following year's Sounds of the Underground tour in 2007. Vocalist Odorous Urungus is also featured on the Last Strapping Young Lad album, The New Black, as a guest vocalist on the song Far Beyond Metal. Odorous lines in the song are taken directly from the Gore song Maggots Now in the Halls of the Necrolord, etc. Scott Kroll is in the School's Out video as a female teacher, with whom Odorous makes out before mounting her at the end of the video. Beyond Hell was released on August 29, 2006, with Gore touring to support the album and being helped by the creation of new props for this tour, including several characters from Beyond Hell's plot, including Jitler and Jucifer. Gore was also present at the 3rd annual Rock and Shock Festival from October 13 to 15 as a part of this tour. In spring 2008, Todd Evans left Gore to focus efforts on his Project Mobile Death Camp. Shortly after Todd's departure, Casey Orr was confirmed to return as Beefcake the Mighty. Sleazy P. Martini returned to the stage with Gore during their Erectile Dysfunction 8 tour. In 2009, Gore celebrated their 25th year as a band. Gore's 11th studio album, Lust in Space, was released on August 18, 2009, through Metal Blade Records. They performed at the 2009 Gathering of the Juggalos and toured nationwide with Lamb of God and Job for a Cowboy. The band released a 2009 Christmas vinyl record consisting of a new song titled Christmas Stripper Summer Weekend and a live Hell-O medley. Odorous Urungus hosted the Crack-a-thon in Brooklyn, New York at the MF Gallery in April 2010. A second Crack-a-thon followed in 2011. On November 9, 2010, Gore released their 12th studio album, Bloody Pit of Horror. November 3, 2011, guitarist Corey Smoot, who had portrayed Flatus Maximus since 2002, was found dead by his fellow band members in the band's tour bus as they prepared to cross the border into Manitoba, Canada from North Dakota. The cause of death was a coronary artery thrombosis brought about by his pre-existing coronary artery disease. On November 4, Dave Brockie officially announced that the character of Flatus Maximus would be retired out of respect to Smoot. The last single recorded with Smoot was released on December 22, 2011, and is a cover of the Dayglow Abortion's song Isn't This Disgusting? The single was made available on iTunes and appeared on the Dayglow Abortion's tribute album in 2012. Battle Maximus, Death of Dave Brockie, and Future 2012 Present. On April 3, 2012, a television sitcom created by horror filmmaker Adam Green and starring Brockie portraying Odorous Urungus titled Holliston debuted on the FEA Arnett cable television network. The series starred Odorous as series lead Green's imaginary alien friend who lives in his closet. Brockie toured and appeared with his castmates as Odorous at many live performances of Holliston across the United States in 2012 and 2013. Green also appeared on stage with Gore several times when the band had him introduce their encore performance. The full Holliston cast was murdered on stage and fed to both Gore's World Maggot and Meat Grinder at several U.S. shows. A third season of Holliston was being scripted by Green when Brockie died of a heroin overdose in March 2014. Gwar announced that Cannabis Corpse guitarist Brent Purgason would be portraying Pustulus Maximus, filling the spot vacated by Corey Smoot, who died of a heart attack. On October 2, 2012, the AV Club posted a video of the band playing a cover of Kansas' 1976 hit tune Carry On My Wayward Son. This was also the first time fans publicly got to witness Pustulus Maximus in live action. On Axe TV, following their April 17, 2013, live broadcast of the Fate or Chaos tour, it was announced the 13th studio album would be called Battle Maximus. The album was released on September 17, 2013. On September 13, 2013, an online petition was launched on Change.org to have the band play the 2015 Super Bowl halftime show. The petition was directed towards the Senior Vice President of Communications for the NFL, Greg A. Lowe. On October 1, 2013, a video of Gore covering Billy Ocean's Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car was posted by the AV Club. The song was blended into a medley featuring The Who's Baba O'Riley. On October 19, 2013, Funny or Die released a one-off animated cartoon produced by Mike Chillian and Gore titled The Animated Tales of Gore. On March 23, 2014, Dave Brockie, age 50, was found dead by a roommate in his Richmond, Virginia apartment. The cause of death was later confirmed to be a heroin overdose. Brockie's death left the band without any of its founding members. On April 10, 2014, the surviving members of Gore and the Slave Pit released a video statement to announce the creation of the David Brockie Foundation, a charity fund for the encouragement of future talent and the preservation of Brockie's body of work. Their first goal with the foundation is to construct a memorial monument to him in Richmond to provide a place of respect for the former frontman of Gore. On May 19, 2014, it was announced through the band's official website that former bassist Mike Bishop, the original Beefcake the Mighty, would be joining the band as vocalist for their first performance without Brockie at the 5th Gore BQ. In a June 2014 interview with Brad Roberts, Roberts elaborated on the future of Gore, reasserting the band's longtime mission to continue for as long as possible, remarking, "You can't write off Gore. Gore is gonna last 1,000 years with or without its past or current members." He proceeded to announce plans for a fall 2014 tour with Bishop providing lead vocals, as well as briefly mentioning new material being worked on with Bishop. The 2014 Gore BQ went on as planned at Haddad's Lake on August 16, preceded by a public memorial service the day before. On August 20, 2014, only days after the band's first performance without Brockie, Gore officially released tour dates for the Gore Eternal Tour 2014. Also featuring American Sharks, Decapitated, and Corrosion of Conformity, the tour spanned the United States and Canada from October through December. Gore later played the 2014 Riot Fest in Chicago on September 12, 14, confirming that the Gore BQ was not a one-off performance for the band. Gore debuted their new character Vulvatron at Riot Fest in Chicago. In October 2014, Gore made their third appearance on the AV Club with a cover of the Pet Shop Boys' West End Girls, which transitioned into People Who Died by Jim Carroll as a tribute to Corey Smoot, Dave Brockie, and other friends of Gore who have since passed on. On November 1, 2014, a never-before-seen video of Odorous Urungus was released, announcing the guest starring of Gore in the first issue of the Miskatonic comic book series. On May 7, 2015, Gore issued an official statement announcing that Kim Dilla had been released from the band directly following the fall 2014 Gore Eternal Tour, and will no longer perform with the group, although the Vulvatron character may return. Discussion outside that statement suggested this was due to alcohol problems that were affecting her performance, and that the Vulvatron character would continue to be used despite Dilla's opposition. On May 24, 2016, it was announced that the band were working on a new album, the follow-up to 2013's Battle Maximus and their first without founding member and longtime vocalist Brockie. On June 6, 2017, Gwar announced via Warped Tour's social media accounts that they had officially finished recording their new album, titled The Blood of Gods, which was released on October 20. On February 25, 2019, Jamison Land announced his departure from the band for personal and career reasons via Facebook, and Casey Orr later returned to fill the role of Beefcake once again. On October 30, 2020, a remixed and remastered 30th anniversary edition of Scumdogs of the Universe was released on various formats. That same day, the band broadcast an anniversary reunion concert where the album was performed in its entirety for the first time. Dubbed Scumdogs XXX Live, it marked the first time that Gore co-founder Hunter Jackson had directly worked with the band since his departure in 2000. In January 2021, Michael Bishop stated that Gore would be releasing both a new album and graphic novel in 2021. On March 26, 2021, Gore announced the disc with no name, a limited edition picture disc containing 4 acoustic renditions of previously released songs. The EP is slated to be released on May 28, 2021. Gore BQ. Since 2009, Gore has hosted an annual festival in Richmond, VA called Gore BQ. The festival boasts of barbecue, rock and roll vendors, a haunted house of sorts which bohabs can visit to be spewed and bled upon, and live music. Held at Haddad's Lake, a natural water park in Richmond, Gore BQ has quickly grown into a destination event, having hosted bands like Clutch, Down, Dead Earth Politics, Cancer Bats, and the Dickies. At the 2014 Gore BQ, the first since Dave Brockie's death, Gwar Bar. In January 2015, Gwar Bar, stylized as GWAR Bar, opened in the Jackson Ward neighborhood of Richmond, Virginia. Mike Dirks and Travis Croxton, Richmond's Restaurateur of the Year 2014, co-owned the upscale dive bar. Dirks, who also serves as executive chef, collaborated with head chef Jeremy Dutra to create the restaurant's menu. The band's website describes the bar as a fantasy land of food and beverage, catering to everyone from local punk metal freaks, rock stars, businessmen, celebrity chefs, and starving artists. On May 29, 2020, the restaurant opened its long-planned outdoor beer garden after being closed to indoor dining for 2 months as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Etymology. Despite various explanations that Gore is an acronym for something such as God, what an awful racket, band members have consistently stated that the letters do not stand for anything. The official website of Slave Pit Inc. indicates that Gore is a shortened version of Gwar, the name the band used originally when opening for Death Piggy. Band members. Current members: Mike Dirks, ballsack, The Jaws of Death, rhythm guitar, 1988 present. Brad Roberts, Jizmakda Gusha, drums, 1989 present. Matt McGuire, Sawborg Destructo, co-lead vocals, 1994-1996, 2009 present. Brent Pergasson Pustulis Maximus, lead guitar, backing vocals, 2012 present. Bob Gorman, Bone Snapper, backing vocals, 1995-1996, 2014 present. Michael Bishop Blothar, lead vocals, 2014 present. Beefcake the Mighty Bass, backing vocals 1987, 1993, 1998, 1999. Don Draculic Sleazy P. Martini backing vocals 1986, 1995, 2017 present. Casey or Beefcake the Mighty Bass backing vocals 1994, 1997, 1999, 2002, 2008, 2011, 2019 present. Former members. Timeline recording era 1987 present. Discography. Hell O 1988. Scumdogs of the Universe 1990. America Must Be Destroyed 1992. This Toilet Earth 1994. Ragnarok 1995. Carnival of Chaos 1997. We Kill Everything 1999. Violence Has Arrived 2001. War Party 2004. Beyond Hell 2006. Lust in Space 2009. Bloody Pit of Horror 2010. Battle Maximus 2013. The Blood of Gods 2017. Videography. Shimmy Disc Video Compilation V1 1988. Raw Gore 1989. The Next Mutation 1989. Live from Antarctica 1990. Phallus in Wonderland 1992. All the Sex 1992. Twice the Violence 1992. Tour de Scum 1992. TVD 1994. Skullhead Face 1994. Return of Techno Destructo 1996. Rendezvous with Ragnarok 1997. Surprising Burst of Chocolatey Fudge 1998. Dawn of the Day of the Night of the Penguins 1998. It's Sleazy 2000. The Gornage Campaign 2002. Blood Drive 2002-2002. Ultimate Video Archive 2002. War Party Tour 2004-2004. Bloodbath and Beyond 2006. Beyond Hell Live 2007. Lost in Space Live at the National 2010. Electile Dysfunction 8 2013. Grammy Awards and Nominations. Gore has been nominated for 2 Grammy Awards, but lost to Annie Lennox and 9 Inch Nails. Phallus in Wonderland Best Long-Form Music Video 1993 nomination. Lost to Annie Lennox. SFW Best Metal Performance 1996 nomination. Lost to 9 Inch Nails.